Community Matters Show. It's our second hour, and our second hour, we're not going to have the co-host Oscar Narcisse with us. He's doing a giveaway this morning on Siri, and if you guys could make it out there, it's right across the street from Moss Motors. You know, you guys try to get out there and support what they're doing, and we'll deal with it on those levels, you know. But in our second hour, Mike and I, we're going to talk about some things. I also want him to give out what's going on with bring a family member to the visit the doctor, or if not family members, go yourself. You know, you don't have to take a family member
Right.
if you don't have one. So Mike.
So for the second hour, I want to start off with the three locations for Take Your Relative to the Doctor Day. The first one is Southwest Louisiana Primary Health Care Center, 8762 Highway 182, and that's in Opelousas. Give the phone numbers 337-942-2005. Second location that's participating is Northside Community Health Care Center, and that's the 1800 block of Louisiana Avenue in Lafayette. The phone number is 337-232-6787. And the last location is Evangeline Family Medical Center. That's at 505 East Lincoln Road in Ville Platte. Phone number is 337-363-0604. Now, this is going on today from 8 until 2. So if you can't make it today, then please make it when you can. So let's not sit back on this. Let's put it out there and get our family where they need to be as far as being checked for any illnesses or so that we can ward off serious concerns down the road. As I spoke about in the last hour, and I'm pretty sure the listeners can tell you when you go to a funeral and you meet, your relatives, they always say, we go to more funerals than we do family reunions. So let's get checked. Let's go sit down and talk with these healthcare providers. Let them know that you want to participate in your own health. Take your health back. Good health matters. So this is a collaboration between Southwest Louisiana Primary Health Care Center and my fraternity, which is Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated. So we're teaming up to promote this event. So we really want people to take their health serious. Go see a doctor. And if you don't go for with a loved one, then go check for yourself. And if you're in the area of one of these locations and you don't want to get checked, I'd love for you to stop by one of these locations and just tell the staff thank you for participating in what they're doing, because this is very, very serious. We need to, especially with this big, dumb, ugly bill that was passed by Congress. We don't know what type of healthcare insurance or who's gonna cover you with this bill. So while you can, let's get a jump on it. Go get checked out. Don't say, oh, I'm tired, or I got other things to do. It's not gonna take you long to go to one of these places and get checked. Go talk to a doctor. Go talk to a nurse, or like I say, just stop by and say thank you for doing what you do.
Also, bring your medication. Let them look at your medication and make sure that the medication that you're taking is for the right reason.
Yeah. I took my brother this morning to the Northside Community Healthcare Center. He was there for like 8:15, and he was out of there by 8:30, 8:45. So it didn't take long. They drew blood, had to give a urine sample. He spoke to a doctor, the nurse practitioner that was there. And, it didn't take that long at all, but at least he got in and got out. So I'm just going to continue to encourage people to support this program because, like I said, you don't know with this big, dumb, ugly bill that was passed, you really don't know what's going to happen in the future. So now is the time, people, to go and get checked. And this is not a scare tactic, but this is just reality. This is what's happening. This is where we are. So, go get checked, and that way you'll be in the know.
Right. And again, I want to commend you for all that you're doing for the health aspect of it, making sure that people have access to getting their health screen, the medicine screen, and the things that we definitely need.
Yeah.
Because some people is on a whole lot of medication.
Whole lot of medication, yeah.
And all the medication that you're taking might not coincide with each one that you're taking.
Yeah. Let me say that to our listeners. We give out the information, and that's all we can do is give it out. Okay, we can put it out there in the airways or over the internet lines and everything else, but you need to take that step. We're community matters. We're bringing it to your attention. We're giving you the information. We're giving you the location. We're telling you what's going to happen. So it's up to you guys to go and get checked and go talk to these people. I hate to say this, and I'm not being critical of anything, but Oscar just left to go to Ageless.
Yeah.
What Bobby Kaye does his yearly dinner giveaway, and I guarantee you they're going to have more lines of people trying to get a free plate lunch of food rather than that same line be at the healthcare facilities getting their health looked into. Like I said, I'm not being critical, but I think that I need to know where I'm at, and if I'll be able to eat that plate of food that I'm getting from Bobby Kaye, if it's not going to make me sick or it's going to add to my already high blood pressure, cholesterol, or whatever else. Now, like I said, I'm not being critical. I love what Bobby is doing. He's giving back to the community. He's always done that. And I commend the brother for giving back, because he is in the community, in Opelousas and in Lafayette. And I don't know any other places where he operates out of, but you can honestly say that this brother's putting it back in the community. So I applaud him and I thank him for that. I'm just trying to make comparison to, your health. So, but the lines are going to be longer at his place rather than at the places that I'm giving you that are participating in the health screenings.
Right, because people looking to get a meal, but they're not looking to get their health screen checked like it should be.
And that's where we are. I don't know why. I hate to say it, but whenever there's something free, we show up in droves. But the same thing goes to the voting booths. We can't get the people we need to get out to go vote. But what if it's something free? And that's what's critical of our community. That's what's always been said, and that's how these politicians see it. That if they give us something, but we don't give back. So we need to tell them, no, you can keep your meals, but I'm going to go to the voting booth. I'm going to pull that lever for my candidate. And going back to the health screenings, that's where we need to be as well. Not because I put it together, but because it's the right thing to do. Yeah, I'm not getting paid for this. I'm not getting any kudos for this. I just feel that it's something that we need to do, and that it's the right thing to do.
You're doing your God-given talent.
I'm doing what God asked me to do.
Right. And that's what
which is help people.
That's what makes it so important, Mike. I don't care what nobody say. You brought up voting. Voting is something that we should take serious. Let's go to the caller. Good morning, caller. Welcome to the Community Matters Show.
You guys are still rolling, and that's what's important. Why we have this platform to inform people, and the different platforms we all on, is to talk about things. And Mike today is hitting on all cylinders. I'm not just saying that just to give honor and praise, but it's the truth. Home health. Let's talk about the home health industry. And it plays a vital role in a lot of our loved ones. I don't know about everybody else, but I know a lot of my mother too, and everybody else, Brother Wallace. And it also, like I said, in the first hour, it has a domino effect when they talking about doing away with some cuts in Medicaid. So I was checking out. I don't see any main stories about it and how it will affect Louisiana, but I checked out what we call Chat GPT, right? The AI news scraper that scours the internet. And I asked the question: will home health industry be affected by Medicaid cuts? And it said, certainly yes. Medicaid cuts are. I'm gonna just read this short part. Medicaid cuts are likely to significantly impact home health services. States may reduce home and community-based services, which is a HCBS, which include home health due to budget pressures, leading to fewer people receiving care at home and potentially impacting the availability and generosity of service. Now with that said, what you guys talked about earlier about those small hospitals, clinics like Very Comprehensive, the Surrey Street Clinic, and I think Mike mentioned a few. We don't know how they exactly fund it, but this is what, and Mike just added the whole thing about the political issue, the politicians. This is the problem, Brother Wallace. We let these people, they the ones tell us to go vote. They shame us to go vote. If we say, we get up on a platform and say, we're not voting, we're not participating because we mad. They shame us and say, we are not participating to elect them. But when it's in times like this, they should have called a regional town hall meeting and informed the people, those elderly people, those people who work in a nursing home. A lot of the young ladies build their career in the home health industry. They buy homes, they buy houses, and they buy vehicles. Wallace, did I talk about that?
Right.
No politician is coming and telling us it's too late to solve it. I mean, we definitely can't solve it with the political climate, but certainly we could prepare ourselves for what's coming down the pipe. That's why I get so upset about the political part of it, not just to run over a politician to get up on a platform and call him a name. The thing is, they are negligent. They are the biggest creators of voter apathy if you look at it on a logical ground, and this is the problem. So maybe, I don't know if y'all will have time to discuss the residual fallout from the Medicaid cut again. I know we all talked about it in the first hour, about how do we prepare if we can't take our loved ones to the clinic because the clinic is not there no more because they don't have no operating funds. The state of Louisiana never came forward and said, will they cover the cost? Or do they have enough funding to cover the cost when the federal government don't give those matching grants and matching funds? That is the question, Brother Wallace.
Well,
thank y'all so much.
Thank you for the call, Brother Jay. Well, I look at it like this here. I'm up there in age, you know. Today I look real healthy. You know, I'm not laying on the stretcher and I'm not in nobody's hospital. But as days go by, I don't know what's going to happen for tomorrow, you know, because I seen people, you know, I talked to a couple of days before they passed away, you know. What? Man, that's hard to believe. That person done had a heart attack, you know, his cholesterol is up there. And cholesterol is not like blood pressure, you know. Cholesterol make your blood pressure go up, but if you could do something about the cholesterol before you catch the heart attack, before you catch the stroke, why not go and check it out?
Well, let me throw a bombshell to our listeners. So, and Brother Jay hit on a point that I want to cover. So he talked about healthcare in the rural areas will be affected.
Yeah.
Okay. So think about this. You know, you have all these CNAs, and they call them something else now, nursing assistants, or I don't know what the correct terminology is. If I'm saying it wrong, I apologize to all you people that do that type of work that assisting in the nursing homes and everywhere else, or in homes, right? Home health aides. With the cut of Medicaid, Medicare, they may lose their jobs.
Yeah.
Right? I know a young lady that was saying that they were getting paid like $9 an hour, right? To us, that's nothing. That's to me, that's poverty, right? But a lot of these women showed up every day because they needed that $9 an hour, right? So now you have, believe it or not, you have a lot of politicians that own these type of services, right? So in Louisiana, so you got your Bill Cassidys and your Kennedys and your what's his name, Scalise and John Wayne up there, that voted for Clay Higgins for this bill. So what do you tell now these employees that, because the amount of people that you get into these nursing homes, a lot of that Medicaid or Medicare, whichever one you think, pay for those services, which in turn pay for those employees at those facilities, to include in-home care facilities, right? So what happens now? A lot of people couldn't afford private insurance. A lot of people don't have, can't follow that rainbow and go dig up that trunk at the end of that rainbow, get all that gold out of it to turn around to pay these employees, right? So now what's going to happen? So they say, they're going to find a affordable insurance. You tell me what insurance is affordable.
None. It's like all these guys that you call that's in office now. They could get good health care.
Thank you.
For the rest of their life.
For the rest of their lives.
But they don't
and
give
family.
a damn
and family.
about yours.
So, what's even crazy, and I'm kind of jumping off a little bit, my daughter got a letter from her car insurance that said that your car insurance is going up.
Mm-hmm.
So she's like, so she called. Well, because you're projected to have you'll be driving your car more, or you've driven your car more than last year. And she was like, no, I haven't.
Mm-hmm.
And they were like, well, yes, you have. So your insurance is going to go up like $175. She's like, that's no way.
And
So
there's that little thing on the bill.
no, that's not it. So what happened was, so she called me and I said, well, look, why don't you call them back and find out how they're telling you that you've driven more this year than last year, or the numbers don't match. Mm-hmm. Where did you get those numbers from? Because you don't report that number to your insurance company.
Nope.
They told her that her dealership reported the mileage to the insurance company.
No,
and
that's wrong.
she called me and I said, that's no way.
Mm-hmm.
I said, that's no way, because when you go to a dealership and the dealership doesn't know who you have insurance with. So I told her, I said, you call the dealership, confirm what I'm telling you. And that's what she did. The dealership says, no, that's not our business. Mm-hmm. We don't call your insurance company. I said, you call your insurance company back and you've caught them in a lie. You asked them why your insurance went up, right? Well, they could not tell her where they got those numbers from. And the numbers were inaccurate.
Now we're bringing up insurance.
I'm sorry, brother?
Hey, that's a tough area, man. The same insurance company playing us.
Well, yeah.
They calling it on to the customer, and they supporting things that's detrimental to our community.
But
most the biggest risk, but they get the payout.
What most people don't realize, Brother Paul, is that the insurance companies have lobbyists, right? And they want to make as much money as they can. You've been paying insurance for 15 years, but you have an accident or you file a claim, and that claim go over 3 claims a year, they're dropping you. But you've paid into them 15 years. Yeah. So for 3 claims, they're dropping you. So where's the fairness in this insurance, right? But going back to this big, dumb, ugly bill, now you're going to probably have people who are going to be unemployed, but they're telling you that, for SNAP and food stamps, if you're able, go to work. Mm-hmm. And you have kids that are in daycare, and you go work, and you're going to get minimum wage. How are you going to pay for daycare to put your kids in daycare and then put a roof over their head, put food on the table, pay for their doctor's visits? And when you're going to be able to do that if you're a single parent?
Okay. They being slick with it.
Yeah. Then I heard in the news this morning, this lady said, they're going to just take those recipients and put them in the field and they're going to go work. Like Brother Jay said earlier, there's no way that's going to happen.
Yeah, nope.
I'm sorry. There's no way that's going to happen.
Servitude.
Yep.
On social media, they got some white guys working and in the field, and they're saying, "Oh no, we got to bring them back because this is not our work."
No.
No.
And if your mind isn't where it needs to be, and your body definitely isn't, right? that work is going to be so hard, and you're going to figure it out real quick, fast, in a hurry. Or we got to bring back those people that really want to do the job, because they had the right, their mind was already where it needed to be, that this is what we're going to do, and honestly they were good at it.
Yeah.
Now, do I think they should be paid less? Nope. I think for the work that they do, they should get paid for it like every other person. Equal wage. Across the board. So they should have gotten paid what they were worth.
And you know what, Mike, a lot of times people say, oh, they're working for nothing. They are not working for nothing. They're working for something.
Yeah.
Because I see too many of them in the grocery stores. I see more white women using that Louisiana purchase card than I see a Hispanic using that. Every time I see a Hispanic buying groceries, they in their wallet paying for their groceries. But the white woman is trying to hide that SNAP benefit. And, why hide it? If you're getting it, utilize it. If they're allowing you to have it, utilize it.
My mom was a single parent. And I remember back in the day when we actually had the books, the food stamp books, the green, the yellow, the purple, the whatever other colors, the red.
Yeah.
So each color represented a denomination of the book. So I remember my mama tearing out, those food stamps. Those, and we having
monopoly money.
Yes, yes.
Money.
Yeah.
I remember us going to the store and purchasing it because my mama worked a full-time job. She worked at a hospital. But we lived in the projects. But guess what? We still had to pay rent.
Right. Yeah.
Because my mama had a job. So it was prorated. But guess what? There were times when we would have to forego on certain things. So my mama would tell us, hey, at such and such time, come meet me at the hospital. And we go to the hospital, and guess what? What was ever left over from that meal from that day, that's we sat down and we ate that, what was left over. Now, she paid.
Yeah.
We didn't take it. It wasn't free. But, of course, the employees got a discount, but they were going to throw it away anyway. My mom still paid for that.
Right. Yeah.
But if it wouldn't be for those...
She didn't pay full price, but she had to pay for it.
But we had to pay for it. And most of the time, that's how we ate.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And we're, three boys. Right?
And eating up everything.
What's crazy is, before my mom even got a car, she would walk to and from work. Didn't call a cab because she didn't have the extra money. Right? So she would have to walk to the hospital and walk back. Rain, sleet, sun, whatever it was, my mom, and she would come home sick.
Yeah.
Right? But she made sure that there was food on the table and we had a roof over our heads. But with this bill, with these people who really don't understand how people live, they just, it's waste, fraud, and abuse. You know what? Go into Congress and you watch and see the waste, fraud, and abuse. Go look at their offices, how their offices are laid out. Right? You go look at it and you tell me that's not waste, fraud, and abuse.
Look at the bills that they pass. That's wasteful and abusive, because they passing bill for themselves, not for the people that voted for them or the people that they are supposed to be representing.
Yeah.
And these are the things that upset me with them. They're not really doing the job that they was voted in to do.
Well, when I was taught in college that when you run for office, you run for office, you meet with the people, so you're there for the people once you get elected. Okay? But when your second term comes up, you're not working for the people, you're working to stay elected.
Yeah.
So then your beliefs and your system that you initially built has eroded because now you want to stay in that seat, in that office, because that's what you want it to be.
Right.
So everything for the people is starting to fade. Those lines have blurred, and you no longer have the same thoughts and ideas, and you don't meet with the same people.
And bullshit.
You don't meet with the same people that got you there. Now you're meeting with people who see you as a way to get what they want, and as long as they're giving you what they want, it's a hand-in-hand thing. Guess what? So now you're staying there because it's the right thing for you, and not the right thing for the people. Right?
Yeah. But the beginning, like you say, is for the people.
It's for the people.
Until they get in office, and then the people go away and They're there.
Yeah. So, and I want the listeners to understand this. When you see someone new coming onto the scene and they're going door to door, right? Once they get into office, and let's say 2 years down the line, when they get close to re-election, do they get back on the streets to go back door to door? Are they sweating again?
No.
I've never seen it happen.
Me neither.
I see now the commercials on television. I see the interviews with the news media. I see for them showing up at paid events, but they're not the grassroots.
They're not.
Has gone.
Yeah.
So the people that got them there, they no longer know those names of those people.
And the thing of it is, we keep electing them. That's just like Clay Higgins. What is Clay Higgins really doing? He might be doing something for some, but he's not doing the right thing for all.
I'm glad you said that. We don't know what he's doing. Seriously, we don't know what he's doing. I mean, how many veterans has he helped? Is that on their website? How many veterans that they've helped? How many people who live in poverty areas? How many times have he visited those people? Of gone to an event in those communities to show people I'm here with you, not for you, but I'm here with you. I bet you can't find one, and not just him, but any of them, all of them.
You know, it's a funny thing. We're talking about Clay Higgins. I happened to go to the airport. While I'm in the airport, guess what I hear?
What's that?
Clay Higgins with a commercial. You know,
It was Christy Nome. If I'm not mistaken, it may have been. I think it was Christy Nomes that was talking about, and I was like, turn that off anyway. But yeah, they're in the airports now talking about this and that, whatever their commercials I'm talking about. But you know, you don't see them in person unless they're there for a photo op. And it's ridiculous, man, that you're supposed to be serving the people, not some of the people, or not the rich people, but all people. Now, your district may have money, right? But not everybody in your district has money.
well, I'm gonna look at it like this here. It's three of us that do this show. Okay, we did invite our mayor president to this show. Never showed up. You know, you wanted me to call him. We got a call.
Got a caller.
Touch the button somewhere. Good morning, caller. Welcome to the Community Matters Show.
Yeah, well, Brother Wallace, I know y'all speak of Clay Higgins, but y'all got a new candidate for the United States Senate seat from my home area of New Iberia. Matter of fact, in my district, named Blake Miguez. Everybody know in the Louisiana Senate what he stands for. He's trying to out-MAGA everything that calls himself MAGA. Now, the question is, Brother Wallace, I know you saw the commercial where he got this gun and he's out there declaring himself an expert shooter. Well, say he won some awards, shooting up stuff. Now, what is the purpose of a commercial like that? And I know Cassidy, who he's running against, he's he's basically a non-threatening black person. You know, he makes some asinine decisions as far as helping the people of Louisiana. But why why does he have a gun and shooting up everything in this commercial, and people think the world of that? And this is the problem. This is why Louisiana is basically last in everything they do. And the thing with this, he is a shoo-in to beat Cassidy. You know, unless the number of, let's say, a little bit more progressive people like the black community stand behind Cassidy, but, you know, hold your nose and vote for the lesser of two evils, a type situation. So I like to get your opinion on Blake Miguez. Everybody knows his record in the Louisiana Senate. He pushed everything that has to do with guns and MAGA.
Well,
thank y'all so much.
Thank you, Brother Jay. I look at it like this here. He's showing everybody he got a gun and he's going to keep his gun. When they want to bring out that gun rule, I don't feel that they're trying to take your guns. They're trying to stop all these automatic weapons that's coming out there that you pull the trigger and you shoot 30 bullets in less than a second. You know? I don't see them trying to take nobody's gun, but that's the way a lot of people perceives it. You know? And Mike, you've been in law enforcement. You know what a gun could do. You teach carrying a concealed weapon, and you teach it so they could carry it right. But you don't teach them how to shoot AKs and all those dangerous weapons that they're having out there.
Well, I teach people how, the proper way to carry, and I get in your head to let you know the different scenarios to hopefully help you understand the ramifications if you do pull the trigger. But when what he's doing, I haven't seen the commercial, but that appeals to people for some reason, which I do not know, don't understand why. And he's not the only one that has done that. Marjorie Taylor Greene did the exact same thing some while ago. If anybody remember, she got in trouble for trying to bring a gun onto the Senate floor several years ago. But if you've been reading the news lately or listening, our governor is not a fan of Blake Miguez, if I'm not mistaken, right? So I don't know if he's a shoo-in, Brother Jay. But we know why he's doing it, why he's going after Cassidy's seat, because he voted to impeach Trump, if I'm remembering the correct person, right? So I don't know if he's a shoo-in, but I'm pretty sure that Cassidy has lost some of the support from his donors and from some of his supporters. I don't know if it's enough to beat Cassidy, and honestly, the less of two evils, there is no less of an evil with either one of these guys, because when you're following that MAGA agenda, it's just for that MAGA agenda, right? When you go back to Project 2025, they spelled out everything that they were going to do, and now they've taken that to a higher level. Stephen Miller, the devil himself, it's a big part. We know that he's probably one of the ones that's walking around, threatening people, saying, "Hey, either you do it our way, or we're going to turn against you." He is probably the one that think he has all the power, because he's the one with all this hatred in his heart. He's the one that I see as the devil. Even his own family, in the first term, came out against him, saying that he wasn't raised this way. So we don't know where it came from. But going back to this Project 2025, they told you everything they were going to do, to include. Now, Trump said he wasn't going to mess with Social Security, right? Okay, yeah.
That was a lie.
Now people are starting to see, but you still have people. You said it alluded earlier, that will still vote for him, no matter how much that he is hurting them or hurting their families, right? They will not admit that he is not the right person for this presidency, but they're going to still vote for him.
Well,
still support him.
The news media, he always talk about fake news. I'm gonna talk about Fox News. Just about everywhere you go where they got a TV screen, somebody got it on Fox News. And Fox News is a Trump supporter.
Although he's come out against him for a couple of times.
A Republican, a Republican side. As far as I'm concerned, I'm not going with the news media. I hear what the news media be saying. Some of the news media, you got to pick and choose what is right. When I heard that the IRS gonna allow the pulpits to dictate or talk about politics, I felt that was wrong. They've been talking about politics anyway. You know what I mean? The pastor, the bishop, the minister, or whatever could really say, "Hey, I'm supporting so and so, so and so," and most of the congregation do what the pastor say do. So guess what the pastor's gonna do is look for the money, and if they give them enough money, they're gonna say who they're supporting, right or wrong. And you're gonna preach for the devil, but yet no, you're supposed to be preaching for God.
Yeah. Well, let me say, with if you have your 501c set up and you're not supposed to be, depending on your 501c, how it's set up,
Yeah.
you're not supposed to be endorsing a candidate because you can be reported to the IRS and they can pull your status. I'm pretty sure that I don't think that Trump has gone after a church yet, but the minute a church starts calling for a particular candidate over a candidate that Trump does not like or support, or if he supports one and they go against him, you can please believe he's going to have the IRS start looking into how they can go after that church and pull this and pull that. Look what they're doing to colleges right now. They're going after colleges.
Yeah.
They have. But think about it. He has people in every major department that's going after a particular entity.
Yeah.
FDA. When you're talking about Kennedy, with vaccines and certain foods and this and that and whatever else, then you have Department of Justice. Now they're investigating Comey and everybody else because they were opening up a probe against Trump with some Russian file or whatever it was. I don't remember what it was. So, and then you got Linda McMahon going after education. You got Mark Rubio. So they are attacking and they are minimizing the authority of the people.
They're
right?
attacking the American people.
They're going after the courts. They're telling the judges now that, the president outweighs you, so whatever your ruling is, it will not stand. And then you got some members of the Supreme Court saying the exact same thing. So, we as people have to wake up and stop being so selfish and say we need to do what's right for people and not what's right for us. But because we have been marginalized for so long, we want what we want. We want to do it right. We want to get what we can get because we think that's what we call surviving, when it's not probably surviving. I'm not going to use the word that I want to use, but we have to wake up because, 2 pieces of silver is not going to help you live for the rest of your life.
And 2 pieces of silver is not going to turn to gold.
It's not going to turn to gold. So, so we have to do better, people. We have to do better. We have to start looking out, for the betterment of everybody. Although some people will look out for just themselves, and you see it every day in their actions, in their words, and how. Because we have a problem of defending each other.
Right.
We have a problem, and then we want to do it in a way that will turn people off rather than having an actual conversation.
Yeah. I want to say a little something on my vacation in Florida. My daughter, my son-in-law, grandkids, they appreciated me because the conversation that we was having, it wasn't, let's go see what we could pop our finger at, let's go see what amusement park we could go to. We had a lot of conversation about how I came up, what happened during my upbringing, the education system. I got a grandson, that's got a college degree, and he talked about the things that he had to go through to get the college degree. Guess what state he was in when he got his college degree?
What's that?
Mississippi. And he said, Grandpa, I'm telling you, I got this degree and it wasn't easy. I said, but you know what made it so easy? You stuck with it.
Yeah.
And now he's graduating into the field that he's in and on his job. But all the 4 years of college he had, he still have to go and get educated into the field that you're in. I know many times since I've been knowing you, man, I got to go to this class. I got to get this education, to climb the ladder, and you did everything you wanted to, or they wanted you to do in order to get there, and you're not by yourself,
No.
Let me take the marshal, for instance, the city marshal. When he was in the police department, he wanted to climb the ladder. They telling me he had to have certain degrees. He went and got the degree, and still they never promoted it.
Well, let me say, yeah, when Reggie applied, he wanted to be the chief of police, and because for another person they lowered they took out that degree portion, and Reggie didn't have a degree at the time, so they changed the rules for somebody else. But when it came to him, they said no, that we think that the chief should have a degree. Let me tell y'all something. That degree, unless you have common sense and unless you have the understanding of the way things really are, if you grew up in this police department, it became very obvious if you were doing the right thing, what the right thing was. Okay, it didn't take a degree for Reggie to become the chief of police. Reggie already had what it took to be the chief of police. Right? Because he understood.
He had the color of the skin not to
Well,
be.
they changed it, and the guy they changed it for was a white male. And because they didn't like what he did or whatever, they changed it. Then they tried to change the rules where you had to have a specific type of degree, had nothing to do with law enforcement. Then because we actually have people in the police department that have master's degrees. We have one young lady, well, several that have master's degrees, and we have a young lady that's actually working on her doctorate, So it didn't make a difference. So when I was told that when I got my degree, there was some talk about, oh well, he just has this degree. It doesn't make a difference what degree I have, which I have a college degree from the University of Louisiana at Lafayette, right? My degree says graduate, bachelor's degree, right?
But the color of your skin didn't say.
But I think in part because it was me that,
the color of your skin is you. The
Yeah.
color of your skin
Yeah.
is you, Mike. I don't want to sound, negative, but I've been around this here long enough to recognize that.
Yeah.
Look at Chief Glover. It was the color of his skin and the education that he had to run a police department. What they did, they didn't want it.
Yeah. And actually, he had a degree from Grambling State University, which is HBCU, so that probably didn't, vote well for most of them. But, it's crazy, man, that the higher that we try to aspire, that's the more layers they added on to us for us to climb that ladder even higher. And I went as far as I could, man. I didn't get my degree because I wanted to be chief of police. I got my degree because that's what I wanted. My wife didn't get her master's degree because she wanted a position. She got her master's degree because that's what she wanted. My daughter was the exact same way. Got her doctorate because that's what she wants to do. It was a personal preference for us. It was a personal thing that we wanted to accomplish. And I'm gonna be honest with you, it took me over 30 years to get my bachelor's degree, only because I had a family to raise. So yeah, I put myself on the back burner. And let me say this, people. I learned this a long time ago, going to all these courses and these classes and these seminars. It's okay to tell people what your struggle was. Say you're bragging. In order for people to know who you are and what you're about, you have to tell them about yourself, right? So if you sit back in a corner and you don't open your mouth and tell people what your qualifications are, what you've gone through, what you've done, they will never know who you are. They won't even know that you exist.
I know.
So every training, to include, I just got back from Phoenix, Arizona. I went out there for a conclave for Kappa Alpha Psi. It's beautiful seeing over 3,000 brothers, man, with college degrees from all parts of the United States for one common goal, and that was to educate ourselves in the brotherhood and the bond. But one of the conversations that I had before I left was from a young brother, man, that said, in order for other chapters to know who you are, you have to put it out there, because you may be the reason that other people aspire to be great. Right. So your story may be the story that someone needs to hear that pushes them to work harder, to go further, to do better. So,
Thank you.
Our thing is never pass a brother by. When you see a brother, you speak to a brother.
Right.
You introduce yourself, and that's what we do. You never pass a brother by. You speak. You give that person reverence. Deference. You tell them who you are, where you're from, and what you're about. And it's the same. It starts the conversation.
Yeah.
Right. And the same can be done with us, with every ordinary people. You walk into a doctor's office, I always say good morning.
Yeah.
And I don't look at one particular person. I say it to walk in. Now, if somebody says it back, they do. If they don't, but guess what? At least I'm speaking when I enter the room, right?
That's just like I drink coffee in the morning, and I go and have coffee, and sometimes the guy that's standing behind me, he got a cup of coffee. I say, hey, I got that guy coffee behind me, and when he get there to pay for his coffee, it's already paid for. Oh, thank you, sir. Have a blessed one. Thank you for giving me that blessing.
Yeah.
That's what I'm looking at. And let's get back to the city marshal thing. I don't want to change the conversation, but look at what the city marshal is doing as a city marshal. He's doing wonderful things in the city marshal office. I think he would have did just as good.
He would have done just as well.
Or better.
Yeah.
In the police department.
And his department has grown by leaps and bounds. Leaps and bounds. He took advantage of what was needed, and he expanded on it, and that's what's happening. I think Reginald Marshall Thomas positioned. They're looking for, whenever somebody decides they want to retire, they got 3 or 4 people ready to get interviewed for that position. That's with he and Chris Trahan and Sally Spears and Shane Duperchet. That's what they have going on over there, man. Is they got the right mentality, they have the right people, and Reggie's ship is righted. Right. It's not a shaky boat. It's not rocky. It's straight. And they run a straight house, because they'll let you know if there's a weak link, that means I have a weak link. Right? And that's not what he has over there, the marshal's office. But let me tell you what's going to happen. I guarantee you, when it comes for re-election, somebody's going to run against him.
Yeah.
Right? And somebody's going to put somebody up against him to run against him, knowing that he is doing an excellent job as a city marshal.
Yeah, well, I campaigned for him before, and I'm a campaign for him again.
Yeah. I'm with you on that one.
Go all out for him, because I know they're going to send somebody at him, and it won't be his own kind. Well, okay. Hey, man, I just got to bring it out.
Got to bring it out. Yeah.
And that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Politics, man, if you don't understand it, it's hard to understand, because you got so much confusion in politics. You got people trying to lead you the wrong way. They got people trying to lead you the right way. They got people lying on you, saying things that's untrue. And seem like people believe the lies before they believe the truth.
Yeah.
And I hear this guy talk about it all the time, 'cause I know you, I went to school with you, I was raised up around you, I'm going to vote for you. And you're voting for all the wrong reasons, because the people that you think is the right one is definitely the wrong one. And they got some in office now, that got there and don't know what they're doing now that they're there.
Yeah, let me say that, I have an issue right now with some of the things that's going on in the police department with the transparency. You know, of course, I'm not in law enforcement anymore. You know, I see some things and I shake my head because even when I was there, I said, you know what, you want to treat people the way you like them to treat your family members. Right, and I brought that out earlier, man. That with bullies, you know, if someone was bullying your wife or your kids, you'd be the first one to go and complain or stand up for your loved one. But there's a lot of stuff that's going on right now, and that's being, in my opinion, being minimized, and you know, I see it every day, and it bothers me a whole lot. You know, my wife is just telling me, you know, you need to go do something, stay there. And I'm like, no, I can't, because I can't go talk for someone who won't talk for themselves, who won't stand. I'll stand with you, but I'm not going. But I can't stand for you. You know what I'm saying?
That's what
because
I tell a lot
they
of
can.
people
How they gonna take you serious if you don't take you serious?
Right.
So I see it all the time, and I shake my hand. I get a lot of phone calls, and I try to tell people, you know, this is what I think you should do. This is what I think how you should handle this, and so forth and so on. And it's not just in law enforcement; it's just in general, because of my years of experience. Now, some people may say, you know, I wouldn't do it that way. Well, that's fine. But in order for me to understand what needs to happen, this is how my mind works. So
yeah, well, you know, it all goes hand in hand. Mike, we coming down to the end. I don't know where this all went, man.
Well, it went quick because we didn't have Oscar in our ear, man. So
Okay. Well, you know, I want to thank everyone for allowing us to come into your eyes, to your ears, to your heart, and to your home. You know, I want to say good morning to Kate, Chuck, and Richard. And we all gonna get there, but we got to get on the same train.
yeah.
You know,
That's right. You don't need no ticket neither. Just get on board.
yeah, you know, we don't have to sit in the same seat, but just ride the train together, because they got a lot of things
Conversation.
that's coming in the front of us. We don't have a clue
Yeah.
of what's going on.
Yeah, before we end, I want to let people know that, you know, August is coming up. The kids are going to start going back to school. So if you haven't thought about donating to a school for a kid, please do so. Soon I'm going to start announcing my cards, my school cards, where, you know, we're going to start taking donations, because we take these gift cards and we give them to the schools, and they in turn give them to the kids with that need certain things, you know, clothes or whatever, and they'll give them the gift cards or as incentives to continue to do better. But my thing is, if you know of any program where they're giving out to schools for supplies or clothes or whatever for a kid or for a teacher who are coming out of their pockets for a lot of these things, please do so.
Okay. You know, Brother Paul,
Well, you know, hey, y'all come back now, but hey, continue supporting public television and radio.
Yes,
Thank
please
you.
do.
Depends on it, so we can get the right information.
Okay.
well, until next week on the Community Matters Show, we're going to say have a great weekend, have a blessed weekend, and stay safe out there.
Stay safe. Enjoy your
That's right,
weekend.
That's right, and stay united.